There is one question I've always refused to answer. How much did all of these reptiles cost me? I've got over 100, and today I'm going to tell you exactly what I paid for all of them. That's right, I have over 100 reptiles and I couldn't be happier. But as you'd guess, it costs a lot of money to buy all of these animals, never mind all the equipment and the ongoing expense. But today I'm going to tell you the price that I paid for every single reptile that I have. And we'll keep a total as we go. Let me know in the comments section now, guess, how much money is my entire collection worth? Starting from the very first reptile that I ever purchased, my leopard gecko, Cheech. Cheech is a Tremper albino, nothing special. I bought him at a big box store, Big Al's in Hamilton, Ontario. He cost me 80 bucks in 2011, and he's still with me. I love this guy, my oldest reptile and one of my favorites. Littlefoot is an animal that I produced with Cheech, so I'm not gonna talk about any animals that I have produced because I didn't really buy them and I don't know how to put a value on each one that it would cost me. But I wanted to bring up Littlefoot because Littlefoot was the star of the channel before I got Diamond here, and I'll tell you how much he cost me too. Pikachu is an albino ball python that I got in 2017. This animal cost me $200. I bought him with a girlfriend who was supposed to be het albino. I bred them for like 7 years and they never produced albinos. So don't lie to people when you sell them reptiles. It's bad. Don't do that. Miss Noodle is a ball python too. She's a breeding size and proven breeder female ball python. She's a normal. She's got no hets. I paid $20 for her in 2019. She's great. She has been great, but I don't breed ball pythons anymore, so she's up for sale. Now, I know in the comment section, you guys are already writing, where do I find animals? Most of the animals that I have, I'll tell you where I got them going forward. I got from Kijiji, which is the Canadian version of Craigslist. And keep in mind, this is Canadian dollars that I'm talking about, but at the very end, the total, I'll give you USD also. So always look for deals. I almost never, ever pay full retail price for reptiles. Not that you shouldn't do that, but there are ways around it, which we'll get to in a little bit. These three red corns, they are blood red pied het exanthic corn snakes. I've got 14 eggs in the incubator, which we did a video about a couple weeks ago. For the trio, it cost me 300 Canadian dollars, which is a freaking steal. Cubone the Doorbell's boa, I bought right when COVID started, March of 2020, for $200 along with her 20-gallon tank that she was in. Now they're worth $500, $600, $700. So it's insane how I got such a great deal. And then immediately, because of guys like me and Clint and people on the internet running our mouths, they got really popular. There was no supply, and that's why they're so much more expensive now. So sorry, not sorry. Pittsburgh was free. Pittsburgh is a Maclet's python, and I'm not going to include the free reptiles because I did a video about that. There's a link down below. Watch it after this one. There's like 30 or 40 reptiles I got for free, and in the video I explain how. But I forgot to put Pittsburgh in that video, and shout out to Annalise at All Canadian Reptile Girl for just giving me this animal. I can't wait to give her an enclosure upgrade because we're getting rid of all this crap and making our own. Jimmy is a spotted python. I used to talk about this guy all the time. I still do. He was $125. I bought a trio of them. One of them failed to thrive, and then the other one escaped and unfortunately passed away. So he's the only survivor. And the reason I got all of them for $125, all three, is because they all refused to eat. I did get Jimmy to eat, and he's still with me today, 5 years later. Erwin is an Indonesian blue-tongued skink. I paid $250 for him and his enclosure, which was a 36 by 18 by 18 Exoterra. I've had him since 2019. I did a video all about him, but he's definitely the cheapest of my blue-tongued skinks. We'll get to Steve in a little bit. My carpet pythons, I've got two of them. They are great, and they're a breeding pair. I got a steal of a deal, 150 bucks. They were surrendered to my reptile shop. They housed them for a little bit, just charged me enough so they made their money back from keeping them, and they made sure that they were mite free and all that. They did a bunch of work, so 150 bucks, so $75 each. The comment section hasn't even started yet, and I already know you're saying, how did you get such good deals on animals? I got lucky a lot of the times. I knew the right people, and I was patient and made sure I looked for deals. But if you want really good deals on reptiles right now without having to do any of that, my new favorite app, Palmstreet, has you covered. I wish Palmstreet was around when I was acquiring reptiles 10 years ago. Short form auctions that last a few minutes of your time. They're super exciting, and because it's a live auction, the person on the other end is showing you, reading your comments, and can respond to you in real time. You can ask questions and get answers instantly without having to wait for an email back like you would on a regular marketplace. And if you're looking to sell or buy expensive animals or animals that need a little bit bigger of an audience, long form auctions are now live. Up to 3 days for animals starting at over $100, Fantastic way to sell animals that are a little bit more special to you or maybe the buyer. And if you're looking to get into selling reptiles right now on Palmstreet, I got a special link down below just for you. And if you want to buy a reptile for some of these great prices I've been talking about in this video, Palmstreet is going to blow all of these out of the water. A real community, no bots, the safest way, in my opinion, to buy reptiles on the internet. So hit the link below and see what I'm up to on my favorite app, Palmstreet. Okay, now we're getting into some money here. My emerald tree boas, these animals are expensive, okay? I've got two pairs. I got one pair in January 2024, and I got one pair about a year ago to the date. So in July or beginning of August last year. For the two pairs, so 4 animals, I paid a total of $3,500. For sure, they're worth $6,000, but I got a really good deal. Two of them were imports, which I don't recommend. There's actually one of them in that big enclosure back there. And then 2 of them are going into a big cube over here. I just haven't finished it yet. So the reptile room that's coming up is gonna be unreal. My cave gecko, again, was free. I'm just mentioning it because I forgot to mention her in the free animals video from last month. Just someone at an expo was like, hey, I got a cave gecko because of your videos and now I don't want the animal anymore, so it's your problem, and just handed it to me. But that's cool because I love this animal. And she doesn't have a name. So in the comment section, let's name the cave gecko. Maybe like emo themed, because I always say that Chinese cave geckos look like emo versions of leopard geckos, which I stand behind. They definitely do. My knobtail gecko Levi, really cool. I want to get more into these and start a breeding project. I'm looking for a female. It's a Levy's or Levi's knobtail gecko. It was a trade, but the animal I traded for, I paid $300 for, so we'll call it $300. So our total right now is $51.25. So we're not crazy high, but we're about a third way through. The rhino rat snakes are getting really popular, really expensive. I have 3. I bought them as babies when they look like this, a steel gray, and now they're almost full-grown adults and they're green, and in total for all 3, I paid $750, which they're worth way more. My Leachianus geckos, I paid really close to retail price. I paid about $900 for both of them. One was a trade for some Chihuahua geckos, and I don't have any Chihuahua geckos that I actually paid for. Now I only have ones that I produced. And then the other one I paid $450 for, so I'm gonna say $900 for the pair. Leachianus geckos are freaking awesome, and we've got some eggs, but we always get to them after the isopods get to them, so hopefully we'll have some that we can hatch out this year. These cat-eye geckos, I'm making a crazy enclosure for, which I paid way more than I paid for the actual animals, because I only paid $300 for a pair of cat-eyes. One gold phase, one regular phase. They have a lot of growing to do, so you'll see a lot more of them on the channel. The Schneider skinks that I'll never ever part with, I paid next to nothing, 175 bucks. It was somebody who was a fan of ours, which is great, and they live like 2 blocks away. It was in the old house where I used to live, and I just showed up, and they gave me a great deal, 175 bucks for the pair, and I will never sell them, no matter how much you offer me. Next, our leopard boa was a trade for a baby Burmese python, but that Burmese python was worth about 300 bucks, so let's call it $300. That's about retail for these guys now. They used to be more expensive, but the price has really dropped. I love this animal. I'm keeping it just because it's really fun to play with. I have a bunch of dart frogs. The cheapest ones I have are my Santa Isabels. Their retail is like 25 bucks now, but at the time it definitely wasn't. I paid 250 bucks for 4 of them, and they had a bunch of babies and tadpoles. It was an entire enclosure that I bought. So I paid pretty close to retail for this, but it did come with an enclosure and a bunch of babies. And we've actually produced quite a few of these, which we're gonna do a whole video on pretty soon. The Leucomela dart frogs, these are my favorite. I have, you know, actually several tattoos of this animal. I paid 350 bucks over the course. I've got 2 Guyanese bandids and then 2 of the more regular looking ones. So 350 bucks for all 5 frogs. Next, let's peg off some hognose snakes. I got Ekans in 2016, so a long time ago, which is crazy. That means that she's 10 years old and she's still producing eggs. I paid $300 for her, and then a few months later, I bought Nicky, which is the father of the clutch that we produced this year, and I paid $350 for him as a baby, and that was in 2016 also, so he's almost 10 years old too. And then our other breeding female, I paid $300 for her at an expo in Ottawa in 2022. Last year was the first year we tried to breed her. Unfortunately, she slugged out, just a bunch of slug eggs. This year, she produced 1 clutch. We were away for the weekend, and when we came back, it was gone. So we tried to double clutch her, hopefully next year. And then we've got Ruby, our big girl. I produced her, so I paid no money, but this is the biggest hognose snake I've ever seen. Steve is a northern blue-tongued skink. I got him with his enclosure. I paid $300. These animals are much more expensive now, Because I already have Irwin, who I love, Steve is actually up for sale right now. So if you're in Canada and you're looking for a northern blue tongue skink, he's a fantastic creature, just doesn't really fit into anything that I'm doing. And as far as education, I think Irwin's just a better animal because he's just kind of more of a potato. My other Dumeril's boa is named Marowak. So Cubone Marowak, if you're a Pokemon person, you think this is cool. I'm literally wearing a Pokemon inspired shirt today also. I paid $300 for this animal that is worth probably close to $1,000, being that's a breeding age male, and it was when I bought this animal. This was in 2019. So this animal's got to be 10 plus years old at this point, maybe even 12 years old. I'm keeping this animal as a pet. Very strong, very cool, placid, one of my absolute favorites. Diamond, the main man of the channel, this animal is actually free. I included it in the free video, so I'm not going to go over the story, but thanks Mr. Rapper guy who got so successful he had to leave Canada for LA for giving me your bearded dragon for free. My Fiji and Tonga banded iguanas, we'll just go in order. I got Frankie in 2022 at an expo. He was worth probably $3,000 at the time. I paid $1,500. I got a great deal. His girlfriend Martha, I got in December. We did a whole video about that for $1,700. And then Snoop is my Fiji banded iguana, so same genus, different species, who's actually looking at me with intent right now. And I paid $1,500 for him. So our total now is like $14,400, and we're over halfway there. Kratos was $350, which was a steal. We're talking about a 13-foot, full-grown Burmese python who did breed, and I had a clutch of a bunch of Burmese pythons that I then traded for other animals that I still keep that are part of my breeding projects, or I just sold the babies and recouped some of my money. I've got 3 tortoises and 1 iguana outside, so let's cover those. $1,100 over the course of several years is what I paid for the tortoises. The big tortoise I got last year for $500, and then the other 2 tortoises I paid $600 for both of them, and this was in 2019. And then Doug was free. Doug's cool. I freaking love this animal. I got collared lizards at the end of last year, about a year ago, 11 months ago or so. I've had 5 of them. 3 of them survived. 2 of them they were babies and they did not thrive. In total, I spent $1,000 on these animals, and one of them I'm pretty sure is gravid right now, and I cannot wait to watch eggs pop out. Plus, look at this background from Cody at Herp Havoc. Dude, unreal. In total, I have 12 Terribilis, which are my favorite type of dart frogs. The orange ones I've got 6 of, and I paid $500. Well, I traded some white tree frogs, but $500 worth of frogs. And then my green ones I got a few years before. I've got 6 of those too. And those were $500. And then right beside those guys in my living room, I've got some red-eye tree frogs. 4 of them, 2 of them I got for free. Just somebody was like, hey, I don't want them, and I watch your channel. I'll leave them at the reptile shop. You come get them. And then I paid $125 each for the other ones. Beside that enclosure in my living room, the mountain horn dragons, I got 4 of them for $500. It turned out they were all males. One of them unfortunately passed away, which with mountain horn dragons is pretty common. Well, until you really get the hang of it. So the 3 I have now are males, and they're chilling 5 feet apart in the hot tub. Because they're not. My newest addition and one of my favorites that is getting a crazy enclosure, custom enclosure, my Kimberly Rock monitors. I got one as a trade for Susan, my Aki monitor, and the other 2 I paid $750 for. Now keep in mind, I'm a regular customer. I do a lot of business with the person that I bought them from. So I got an insane deal. These animals are $750 each. That's what they're worth. But these are my favorite. There's gonna be so much content coming up. I can't make them the enclosure yet because they're still in quarantine. I'm itching for this one. I am so excited to show you more Kimberly Rock monitor footage. And from that same guy, I got a pair of frill dragons. It was a big trade involving snakes and leopard geckos. The value was about $1,000 is what I traded that value for. So the 2 small frill dragons, the Australians that I have, Squeegee and Luigi, who are named by Daffy's Reptiles, by the way, were $1,000. Then my Mexican black king snakes, which if you remember during COVID, they were cheap at the beginning. They skyrocketed to like 800 bucks each. And then now the value has plummeted again. And I paid $400 for a breeding pair. So we're hoping for eggs later on this year. My pine snake was free. I just wanted to mention the pine snake again because, I mean, what a freaking good looking animal. In the enclosure behind me, the big one, I've got 15 Tinctorius. So they are green Siplawani, the dart frogs. I bought 15 of them for $500. So like $30 something each. It was just somebody who knew me and they wanted to see them in the enclosure and they gave me a fantastic deal. Normally these would be, you know, $60, $75 each Canadian, but I just got a great deal. All 15 of them are still alive, by the way, and they're really fun to watch bounce around that enclosure. In the last sort of 2 more things, Stitch. This is the most money I've spent on one animal ever. I mean, I spent more money on this animal than my golden retriever, okay? So the most money I've ever spent on an animal, $3,000 for my blue tree monitor, 3,000 Canadian dollars. Brandon at Canadian Cold Blood, thank you so much. I mean, you hooked me up. You gave me everything I need to be successful with this animal. Stitch is great, and I did the best video of my entire career all about this animal right here. But before you click that, I want to talk about a $7,000 purchase that's coming. So if you're keeping track, the grand total of all the animals that I paid money for and still have, $24,750. Now keep in mind, this is over the course of over 10 years. So this is not like I went out and spent $25,000 on animals. I know people do that all the time, but I've never done that. I've spent $25,000 over the course of 10 plus years. So we're talking about $2,500 a year, which, I mean, what is your hobby? I promise you've spent more than that. Now, of course, all the caging and the lights and everything else probably far succeeds that amount. And we could do a video about that if you wanted, but I want to tell you about why my collection is worth $50,000. Well, first of all, I have an order coming in next month that's worth $7,000. That's what I'm paying for it. I'm paying $7,000 for 78 animals. And if you want to guess in the comments section what I'm getting, but I am so excited for this. This is gonna be the best video I've ever done. I could not be more excited. So that brings the entire value of my collection to $31,750. I'm just going to include those because by the time this video comes out, I might already have those animals. So we're talking about just shy of $32,000. If I paid retail price for everything and didn't get great deals, the value of what I have right now before the order that I'm getting is $39,950. So $40,000 worth of animals, which seems like a lot, but I mean, I did a video about $1 million collection last week. With the import's worth probably $10,000, maybe more. Let's call it 10. It's $50,000, $49.50. $50,000 worth of animals. And I'll tell you what, I feel really good about it. I mean, I have a really cool collection. I'm really proud of what I have, and that doesn't even include all the animals that I produced that I still have. I have over 100 animals. I just produced probably about half of them. It's hard for me to sell animals because that's not my business. That's not what I do. I don't sell animals for profit. I keep animals, and then I try to sell enough that my hobby is free. Let me know in the comment section what you think your reptile collection is worth, and this isn't a flex, by the way. I don't have the most expensive collection at all. I'm proud of what I have, and if you've got a bigger collection or more expensive, that's really cool. I do it for the enjoyment. I'm not trying to get rich doing this. I want to hear from you in the comment section below.